Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today you will be watching another video about the importance of simplifying fractions in the different operations. So to start with, we will be identifying its importance in multiplying fractions. So I hope after watching this video, you could easily multiply fractions. Let's not make it longer. Let's start in 3, 2, 1. So again, I will be explaining the lesson without my face showing you on any other side of this video. So let's start. So cross cancellation in multiplying of fractions. But what is cross cancellation? So when we say cross cancellation, it is the same as simplifying fractions, but in a way that we are allowed to simplify fractions across other fractions. Take note that this is only applicable for multiplication of fractions, and it is the easiest way to multiply fractions. Why? Later on you will find out after discussing few examples about it. So let's start. In discussing to you the examples, I will be solving it first in the normal way of solving it, the way I've discussed it before, and second, the cross cancellation way for us to really find out whether it is easier. So let's have example number 1, 2/3 times 1/2. As you can see, the normal way of solving it is to simply multiply the numerator by numerator over denominator times the denominator. So if we multiply that, we will get 2 over 6. But 2 over 6 could still be simplified by dividing both numerator and denominator by 2. Therefore, after dividing them by 2, we will get 1 over 3. Again, that is the normal way of solving it, the way I've discussed it before on my first video about multiplication of fractions. Now, let's do it in the cross cancellation way. So in cross cancellation way, the first step is to simply look for a numerator and a denominator that can be simplified. So by looking at the given 2/3 and 1/2, we could see that the numerator 2 of the 2/3 and the denominator 2 of the 1/2 could be simplified because both of them are divisible by 2. Again, I would like to emphasize that it should be one numerator and one denominator. It cannot be the same numerator nor the same denominator. So how do we use cross cancellation? So we will be using a diagonal line to show that it has been cancelled out or simplified. So when you divide both by 2, we will be getting 1. So as you can see, I just have to write the simplified form beside it. Okay, so there we have it. Now, the next step is to multiply when there's no more pair of numerator and denominator that can be simplified. Just like on the given, after simplifying 2 and 2, now we have 1/3 times 1 over 1. So we could multiply them now. So 1 times 1 will give us 1 and 3 times 1 will give us 3. Therefore, the final answer is 1 over 3. Let's have one more example to show to you how to do cross cancellation. So how about for mixed fractions? So if we have 1 and 1/5 times 2 and 1/3, if you could still recall, we have to first convert it to improper fraction. Take note that you cannot solve it even in other operations. So let's convert it. Using the clockwise solution, 5 times 1 plus 1 will give us 6 over 5, and 3 times 2 plus 1 will give us 7 over 3. Now let's multiply them. 6 times 7 is 42 over 5 times 3, which is 15. Therefore, it's 42 over 15. But 42 over 15 could still be simplified by dividing both numerator and denominator by 3. So after dividing them by 3, we will get 14 over 5. Again, that's the normal way of solving multiplication as I have discussed before. Let me show you how to do cross cancellation on the same problem. So we have 6 over 5 times 7 over 3. Again, the first step is to look for a numerator and a denominator that can be simplified. Again, they don't have to be on the same fraction. As we could see, 6 and 3 could be simplified because both of them are divisible by 3, even though they are coming from two different fractions. So let's divide them by 3 and we will be getting 2 and 1. Could you still look for another pair of numerator and denominator that can be simplified. If there's no more, then we could multiply it this time. So let's multiply. 2 times 7 is 14 and 5 times 1 is 5. As you can see, we still arrive at the same answer even though we use the two different methods. Let me give you two more examples to show to you its importance. So how about this? 4 over 5 times 2 over 6 times 10 over 12. If you could still remember last time, I have discussed to you that if possible, you could simplify the fraction before multiplying. So now, simplify first before multiplying solution. So we have 2 over 6 could still be simplified. 10 over 12 also could still be simplified. Now let's simplify 2 over 6. That will give us 1/3, and 10 over 12 will give us 5 over 6. Okay, then let's multiply them now. So we have 4 times 1 times 5 over 5 times 3 times 6. That will give us 20 over 90. But as you can see, 20 over 90 could still be simplified. So we will get 2 over 9 because we could divide both numerator and denominator by 10. That's why we have 2 over 9 as our final answer. Okay, so now on our second solution again, we will be using the cross cancellation way. Okay, again, first step is to look for a numerator and the denominator that can be simplified. Take note that they don't have to be on the same fraction. Again and again, they don't have to be on the same fraction. So let's identify possible pairs of numerator and denominator that could be simplified. Let's start. So we have 4 and 6 could still be simplified. Another, 4 and 12 could also be paired and simplified. 2 and 6 also could be paired and simplified. 2 and 12 could be paired and simplified. 10 and 5 could be paired and simplified. So you may just choose any of those as long as you should never stop looking for possible pairs of numerator and denominator that could be simplified. Okay? 10 over 6 could be paired also because both of them are divisible by 2. And also 10 over 12. The same, both of them are divisible by 2. So now let me show you the solution and which of these possible pairs I have chosen for my solution. I paired 10 and 5. So in pairing them, I've seen that both of them are divisible by 5. So after dividing them by 5, I got 2 and 1. The next pair I have chosen is 2 and 6 because both of them are divisible by 2. After dividing them by 2, I got 1 and 3. The last pair that I could see is 4 and 12. So I could see that 4 and 12 are divisible by 4. So after dividing them by 4, I got 1 and 3. Now, I'll give you some more time to look for possible pairs, if there's any, that we could still simplify. Then, if there's none, then we could multiply the fractions now, the simplified numbers after doing the cross cancellation. So, what is left is 1 times 1 times 2 will give us 2, and 1 times 3 times 3 will give us 9. So again, even though we use two different methods, we still arrive at the same answer. Now, let's have our last set of examples. 22 over 15 times 21 over 8. So by simply looking, first, we could identify a pair of numerator and denominator that can be simplified, like 22 and 8, which could be simplified by dividing by 2. So I will get 11 over 11 and 4. I could also pair 21 and 15 because both of them are divisible by 3. So after dividing them by 3, I will get 7 and 5. Now, since I don't have any more pair of numerator and denominator that can be simplified, I could multiply them this time. So 11 times 7 will give me 77, and 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, one last, how about this? 8, 14 times 21 over 10 times 7 over 3. Again, let's identify first possible pairs of numerator and denominator that can be simplified. Take note that they don't have to be on the same fraction. So 8 and 14 could be paired. 8 and 10 could be paired also. 21 and 14 could be paired because both of them are divisible by 7. 21 and 3 because both of them are divisible by 3. 7 and 14 could be paired also. Now, let me show you my solution on which of those pairs I have chosen to be simplified. So first, I have 8 and 10. So because both of them are divisible by 2, so after dividing them by 2, I got 4 and 5. The next pair is 7 and 14. So we have 7 and 14 are divisible by 7. So after dividing them by 7, that's 1 and 2. And the last pair is 21 and 3. So after dividing them by 3, I got 7 and 1. Now, kindly look for a pair of numerator and denominator that could still be simplified. So basically 7 and 5 could no longer be simplified, but I could still simplify 4 and 2. So 4 and 2, if I cancel that out or simplify, I will get 2 and 1. So you could still do that. Again, as long as you could still see pair of numerator and denominator na pwede pang i-simplify, you can continue doing cross cancellation. Okay? For us to arrive at our simplest answer or lowest term na sagot. So now let's multiply them. 2 times 7 times 1 will give us 14 and 1 times 5 times 1 will give us 5. Okay. How about let's try to compare the cross cancellation way in terms of doing the normal solutions. Imagine if you do the first example, the example above, we will get this answer, and if you do the normal way for the example below, we will get these answers. I believe isa yan sa mga dahilan kung bakit natatakot yung mga estudyanteng kagaya nyo pagdating sa fractions. So now, let's wrap things up. In this video, you were able to learn that cross cancellation is the same as simplifying fractions, in a way that you are allowed to simplify fractions as long as you have one numerator and one denominator. Okay, take note, one numerator and one denominator, meaning it cannot be the same numerator or it cannot be the same denominator. But again, it was emphasized also in this video that you could only use cross cancellation for multiplication of fractions. So I hope you were able to learn something new, and I also hope that when the next time you encounter problems regarding multiplication of fractions, you could easily solve it using cross cancellation. Please watch out for our next video about division of fraction. That's all. Thank you and God bless us all. See you soon.